What's up, everybody? I'm Edward Barber, and welcome to Kwentong Barber. Today is an amazing day, and let's just before we even get to our amazing guest today, I'm wearing a tinge of green. You can see a little green in the background, but Milwaukee's green tonight, guys. I'm so happy. The Milwaukee Bucks have won the NBA Finals. They were 2-0 down, but they came. Giannis, the Greek Freak. Oh my goodness! I had the pleasure of meeting Giannis and interviewing him a couple of years ago, actually like around 2 years ago at this point. And to see him at that time, he was the the MVP. Sorry, what am I saying? And he's actually the MVP of the finals as well. What an amazing year he's had, carrying the Bucks, scoring 50 points in the last game. I'm kind of freaking out over the Greek Freak. So to celebrate this very rare prestigious moment at the Yana. Can you play that one clip? It's one of my favorite moments at the Yana, at the Feliz, sorry. Can you play that one clip? It's one of my favorite moments with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, I can pronounce his name correctly. As it loads, let's get ready for it. This was taken way back in 2019. Oh, let's play it one more time.
Wait, hold on. Coming out like this. Woo!
Hey, okay, all right. I love that. It'll forever be one of my favorite moments. If Giannis, you're watching this, salute you. You're my favorite. Okay, all right. From the Greek Freak, let's go to someone who's, I guess you could call this a little bit debatably, but not so. More energetic than he is, more explosive than he is, and I guess we could say in many ways more talented than even Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here we give you one of the pillars, someone who's such an amazing person in the industry, one of the brightest lights that is consistently burning. Everyone, we give you Mr. Pure Energy himself, Sir Gary Valenciano!
Hey, Edward. Wait. I wanted to say thank you for all those kind words, but please, no, the color, don't get fooled, okay? I'm not a Suns fan. No, really talaga. No. Actually, I don't have it because I have a Giannis jacket. I have a Giannis jacket, and I am so happy that the Bucks got it. I'm
Me too,
so happy. I'm just right now. I'm just so inggit because you have that clip with Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, but galing. I'm so happy for them talaga.
I'm so happy as well. And we're happy to have you here on Kwentong Barber. Some people, oh yeah, I'm just going to check. There are a couple of hundred people already watching, and a lot of them already know. I've said to them, we've been chasing you, Sir Gary, since the very first episode of season 1. You were on our short list, and we're so happy to finally you are here. But I just have to ask, since I've seen you a couple of times at ASAP, but I've seen you maybe a total of maybe 4 or 5 times this year, in person.
Yeah.
And that's very, very strange because usually I'd see you every Sunday, even if we wouldn't talk as much. But how is it now? And I'm sure you've received this question so many times in this new normal, new type of performing, no audience, all locked in. Kumusta po, Sir Gary?
Okay, I'll give you a clue as to how it's like, okay? Listen.
Okay.
That's exactly what you get after. Can you imagine? Hataw na! Hataw at kalaw! Bang! Wala man lang crickets. It's really, really nothing. It's really tough, huh? Kasi I'm so used to hearing and feeling the audience because of what I hear. They hear my music, their cheers are music to my ears. So it's changed quite a bit. However, going online and having concerts like this, on, let's say, for example, a Zoom concert, I get to see them up close. So when they say, pa-shout out naman, it's easy because I can see their reactions up close. Because in live concerts, I'm some distance away.
Right.
So there are advantages, but there's nothing like, you're known as a live performer and you don't have a live audience. It's tough. A lot of adjusting. It's more tiring. It's more tiring, actually.
How easy or how hard is it to be grateful in this thing? Because there's for both sides. Like, it's easy to be grateful because you know what you had before, but it's hard to be grateful because you don't have it anymore. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm still grateful, Edward. Because it's now more personal. When you're watching a live concert and you get hit by a song, you have so many people around you,
Right.
But when you're listening to a song, let's say like "Wag Ka Nang Umiyak" or
Oh, I
"Take Me
love
Out
that.
of the Dark," diba? And you're singing it, and there are a bunch of people watching. I see how they react. I see
Mhm.
how the song's getting to them that many others may not see. And then they send their comments, and you see it sometimes, scrolling up, and they give the comments and all. I'm very thankful for kahit papano, I'm still able to perform, whether it's in ASAP or whether
Mhm.
it's on Zoom. And then people can now hear concerts of mine the way I use my headsets on
Right.
stage because it's
Right.
mixed to my liking. So that's what I'm throwing out to people. So it's exactly the way it should be heard. Unfortunately, some people like to share the sound with everybody else in the house, and that's fun too. But if
Right.
you're on your own, I highly encourage you. Next time I have a concert, wear the headset. It's a
Okay.
there's a difference talaga.
And next time you have a concert, I'll be there. Not in the
Sige.
concert, but watching online. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
I
that
understand.
those energy levels of yours, Sir Gary. And speaking of that moniker, it's been there for a while, and it's one of the most loved and most I have to say unique. Like it's one of those things that no one can really take for themselves.
Hmm.
It's inherently yours. So when you first got that, do you remember when you first got that
Yeah,
moniker or
I
nickname?
okay. It started with a concert that I did way back in the 80s. Okay, so many of the
Mhm.
people watching now were not even born, and I did not make the name up. I never made that name up for myself. It's just that nagkaroon ako ng concert, and then this guy, journalist, his name is Ernie Pecho. He's no longer
Mhm.
here. He's with the Lord now, but he came up with a review of the concert. I think the concert was a concert called either uh, I can't even recall what the name of the concert was. It was at the
Mhm.
Folk Arts Theater, a theater that's no longer used now, but it's a beautiful theater that still exists.
Mhm.
Um, and the next day, he came up with a review, and the review was not Mr. Pure Energy. It just said Pure Energy. And
Wow.
I saw it, and I was like, wow, because that's exactly, imagine, di ba?
Mhm.
You have a concert. Nobody's ever called you Mr. Pure Energy in your life.
Yeah.
But then you have a concert, you're giving everything, and then a day later or 2 days later, you're opening up the entertainment page, and there was there was no cell phone at that time, so nobody was telling
Yeah.
me, "Uy, Gary, check out the write up of Ernie Pecho." No, I was just at home. Then we said, looked at the entertainment page, and I said, "Pure Energy," and somehow from that point, I would walk the streets, and then I would hear people say, "Uy, Mr. Pure Energy." I said, "Uy, gusto ko yun ah."
Wow.
Then tuloy-tuloy na. And then that's what's been used for
It
all of these years.
feels it feels like a God-given name as well, a title
Yeah.
to champion as well. And I love that. But you've had many songs that have been labeled,
Mm.
that have that Mr. Pure Energy flavor, mark, and your tag. And I always love to see how people react to this. When you're called the pillar of OPM, some people take it as a compliment. Some people are like, I don't really like that. I asked Sir Augie, he loves it. But for you, when you're tagged as one of the pillars of OPM, how do you feel about that?
I'm cool with that because I know
Hmm.
I'm not the only pillar. Okay, when you
Okay.
say pillars, that's plural, and
Hmm.
pillars are meant to hold up something, which is OPM. So if they say
Hmm.
that I am a pillar of OPM, I'm only one of many. Ben, for me, Ben and Ben, they are many pillars, holding up,
Of course,
what
yeah.
OPM.
Mm-hmm.
Moira is now a pillar because she has numbers that have never been seen before,
Mm-hmm.
with regard to, local artists. Ogie Alcacid, who writes a song about anything, love song
Mm-hmm.
about anything. Regine
Katinko.
Velasquez, Martin Rivera, Katinko, the Katinko man, he is a pillar. Sorry, bro. Katinko man. It's a bit
Mhm.
shorter, the pillar, but that's okay. It will still play its role. But I don't mind. I don't mind being called that.
Well,
I'm actually very proud to be called the pillar of OPM.
and you've been there throughout the years, and there have been, Sir Ogie even talked about, there have been a different type of pandemic before in terms of music. There were OPM has had its ups and downs, of
Oh
course,
yeah.
but how you've been watching it through the years, and I'm sure there's a lot of fulfillment being at this point and looking back. But how have you seen it evolve throughout the years? What are some of the best highs and the lowest lows?
I think with regard to music, it's not just the music that's evolved, but it's also the audience, the listening
Mhm.
public. Now, the music
That's
now, what
interesting.
I like about it is that you have social media, you have online music platforms that allow um, musicians, singers, songwriters to write anything that they
Mhm.
want to. Not bound by, oh, this is what people want, oh, this is what people expect, oh, it must sound like this, oh, it must no, they just write it based on what they feel and when they feel they should release it. And it's
Mhm.
good because I think there's been an incredible response with
Mhm.
regard to programs like the Wish Bus that is open to any artist,
Yes.
diba? Any
Yes.
artist. And I remember going to one of the awards nights of the Wish Bus, and I was amazed to hear the fans screaming. The fans that I would hear screaming for people in the Guild of Acting. When
Mhm.
there's a awards night for movies, you hear all the fans screaming and all that. And usually in the award giving bodies of music, you don't hear as much. But in the Wish thing, that it opened my eyes to realize, yeah, OPM is. I mean, we've had our struggles. There's still so much that we can do, but something is being done, and
Mhm.
the audience has changed now. Now they're open to whatever music. I'm hearing a lot like Tarsier Records. Okay, I mean they have
Yes.
so many different artists, and when I'm hearing clips of theirs online, I'm like, sino to? Okay, to ah. And these are young guys I've never heard before, but it's like
Mhm.
fresh to my ears. I love stuff like that. So I think
Also,
OPM is good in that sense.
so you're a student of the game until now. You're still checking out the
Oh,
new talent.
definitely. Definitely. I mean, when Glock 9 first came out, everybody was like, wow. Diba?
Mhm.
And then you have Shanty Dope. I was like, wow. And I'm really like, wow. It's not my genre, but I'm a music lover kasi, Edward. There's
Right.
not one particular kind of music that I like. I listen to anything from original soundtracks, yung mga gawa ni Hans Zimmer and all that, to soundtracks that have various artists in it, to I listen to hip hop once in a while. I don't ask me who the artists are. I just love the beat. I love
Yep.
how it's going. I like that. I listen to R&B. I listen to classical music. I listen to gospel. I listen to Christian music. I am a music
Amen.
lover. And I like learning because I think for as long as this heart beats, there's always room to learn. And then later on apply
Wow.
and hopefully others to learn from. So that's it.
I love that. I love that a lot, and a lot of people are loving it right now, Sir Gary, on Kumu as well. We almost have 500,000 diamonds as of this point.
Hey!
We're only 15 minutes into the episode, but we have just under 1,000
Maraming
people watching.
salamat.
A huge shout out to everyone: Dottie, Angel Urias, Edward 715, Sarang Hey Mayward, Tina Tison. There's so many people who are watching right now.
Yeah.
But Sir Gary, there's so many. When I was thinking about what I could talk to you about in this interview, I wasn't stumped, but I was like, I want to make this different. I want to make this. I
Okay.
was in the shower a while ago, um, earlier today, and I was just thinking, and basically all I came up with today is Sir Gary V. I want to talk to you about fruit. That's it. That's all. I
Fruit.
just want to talk to you about fruit, and I'm not talking
Okay.
about bananas or peaches or pineapples. I want to talk to you about fruits of the spirit. It's mentioned a
Oh.
lot in the Bible
Yeah.
as well. Of course, everyone who's not familiar, we got love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness,
Kindness,
faithfulness,
goodness,
gentleness, and self-control. And
self-control.
I don't want to go all like through all of them, but I want to ask you questions based on those things.
Sure.
And I want to start off with joy, because you've been a source of joy for so many people throughout the years. Until now, even if it's online, you're selling out concerts. People watch ASAP. A lot of people watch it, and they look for you. If they don't see
Oh
you, the
man.
likes of you, Sir Ogie, they're like, parang may kulang, parang something's off. So, what is your main source of joy in the industry outside of the music, outside of family and the fans?
It's being here in this bat cave of mine because this is where I'll use these marks at all the magic takes place. Of course, it's not magic.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
really just a miracle, Edward, because when I sit on those keyboards, I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know what
Mhm.
chords I'm playing. So I'm just listening and I'm like, oh, wait, this sounds good. Oh, wait, oh, this melody sounds good. And if people ask me, hey, is that the key of F? I, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I just like what I play, and that's for me one of the sources of joy that I have,
Mhm.
where I sit down here, and when I allow it to happen, this God just takes over, and sometimes nothing comes out, but it's
Mhm.
a lesson, like almost like wait, wait upon me. I'll come through, but not now. But just wait upon me. Okay. So I have a new song called "Make Us Whole Again." It took me a year to finish, and
Mhm.
I came to the point where I was thinking maybe it's not meant to be done. Maybe it's not meant to be completed. But his timing was that no, I will make you finish it after when the second wave comes. So when the incidence of COVID was rising again, that's
Wow.
when it got
Okay.
finished. It was originally written for when the ABS CBN was shut down.
Mhm.
That's why I started writing it, because my heart was full of my fellow colleagues, my colleagues in the industry who would no longer have work, and the
Mhm.
11,000 plus employees of ABS who also didn't have any work anymore. But then I was only able to finish one chorus, and I kept it hanging for over a year. And a year later, the numbers started rising, and now, Gary, go into that room and I'll be with you. Come. And I came in here and it was done.
Wow.
And it's page after page after page of lyrics. And then I scratch it out, and then until I got the right lyrics. But that's one of the sources of joy. Now,
Mhm.
another source of joy, it really has to be family. And that is
Mhm.
Leia, my grandchild, my
Oh
granddaughter.
wow.
Oh my God.
I love that. Why?
I
What
can't.
is it about Leia that makes you melt like
Man,
that, Sir Gary?
she's just such a character. Now, every child is a character. Okay, I'm
Mhm.
sure if you have a niece or a nephew you'll say no, like, and you cannot compare because no two
Mhm.
people are alike, right? I mean, no two people are exactly the same. But with Leia, she's feisty, she's energetic, she'll never stop moving and never stop talking, and yet she's got that side of hers that comes up to you, and she'll just go by you, and she'll just hug you, or she'll get me by the hand or by the finger and just drag me to where she wants me to be with her. I mean, these are simple things that even my children did to me, but
Mhm.
it's just nice to experience that again. This time in the form of not my daughter or my sons, but my
Mhm.
granddaughter. And I'm truly, truly blessed, to have that. Um, Other things
There's
that actually
uh,
give me joy are the things that have nothing to do with music. It's when I go biking, when I ride my bike and I
yes, you
go.
love biking.
Oh, love is an understatement. It's an understatement. It's there's such a passion for it that I'm on the bike.
Okay.
It's just me. The car is following me behind, but I'm on the bike. I'm My senses are all heightened because a jeep could come out of the corner or
Right.
a
Of
tricycle
course.
can, so everything's there like that, and then I can go anywhere. I've traveled from here in the hills of Antipolo all the way to Calatagan in Batangas. I did 169 kilometers, and I'm like, oh, okay. And when I got there, I'm in the beach. I stopped in the
Wow.
beach.
I remember that. I think you posted something on Instagram
I
at
did.
that time.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you traveled all the way from your home there. I thought you must have taken a break somewhere.
I did. I
Um.
did take a break,
Okay.
but my final destination was there, and I got there.
Mm-mm.
So I like
And you
things like
planned
that.
that? You planned that? Like, is it
Yeah,
just
I
all
left
spontaneous, or you have to plan?
kind of spontaneous, but kind of planned.
Okay.
Like it's happened like today. I was thinking, hey, maybe tomorrow. What's my schedule tomorrow? Ay, wala. What's my schedule the next day? Uy, wala rin. Maybe I can go to Calatagan. Okay, tomorrow I'll go to Calatagan. And so I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and at 4 a.m. I was on my way.
Wow.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it. And then I got to share it with everybody, and I score it. I edit the
Yeah.
vlogs myself, and I love doing that. It's I have such a passion to put in visuals and music together, and
Mhm.
just coming up with my own thing.
It's the gift of performing that is not just in live performing but in edited form as well, and it's one of the things that gives us a lot of joy. Like, Sir Gary, I don't think I've met someone or a very few people in my life that are as passionate about life as you are. And you've had a couple of challenges within your life,
Yeah,
according to health as well.
yeah,
um and you've been very open with it. It's a huge source of inspiration. and reminders. I remember you talked to us at Araneta years ago, and it was the time when you had to do
Yes.
the drums.
Oh.
Another moment like that. I think that's a story for a whole nother day. But my main question is for, like, when I've talked to people, and I've talked to Pastor James about this, and I was like, if there's one person that you really want to look like when you're older, who is it? And one of the people who came up in this conversation was actually you. It's like, if I can look like GaryV when I'm older, I can play basketball with my kids. Sir Gary, you have a better body, and it's so weird. I never thought I'd be commenting on your body stature, but you have a better body in terms of physique and activity than most people my age. So if I could wear the shirt like you do, Sir Gary, I would. But what's the secret there? I know there's passion, but what's the secret to that?
Okay. People know that I've been a diabetic now for 42 years, okay? The diabetes, every time I mention diabetes, people go, no, kawawa naman. Ay, it must be so hard, no? And you know what? My answer is, mahirap talaga. But it's what's kept me healthy. I have no choice but to eat healthy food. I have no choice but to try and stay in shape. And it's not easy to stay in shape. Nope. Who likes working out, 3 times a week when you're not used to it? But, despite the fact that I still have it, the fact that the doctors have told my mom and told my wife, Tita Angeli, that the average lifespan of a diabetic, type 1 diabetes, which is more severe than type 2, type 1 diabetic, which is what I am, is 30 years from the day of diagnosis. I was diagnosed when I was 14 years old. I'm 56. So, there's just so much in there that has happened. So many close calls, as in that's it. That's how close I would get to, But God had other plans, and He still has other plans. So it's worked in a way that's kept me healthy. Ironically, the thing that started out my whole health challenge is what's driven me. It has also driven me to stay healthy. Parang instead of, so hard, and all that, it's more like, ganon? O sige. Wait, I can still sing, right? Okay, sige. Okay, I can still ride. Okay, I can still lift some weight. Okay, I can still move and dance. That means I can still minister to people and talk to people. Yes, you can. Okay, let's work out. Let's go do it. And so that's what I've tried to do. I'm not perfect in all of these things. I'm gaining a little weight, but I think that in the course of time, I'll be able to fine tune what I need to work out in order to stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can.
Wow. I love it, because it seems that what many people would consider chains around the limbs holding you back, you've used as ropes to pull yourself forward. And that's a great analogy for that as well. But for you at this point, Sir Gary, would you consider it a blessing that it happened, looking back?
The diabetes and all?
Yes. The challenge of that.
The diabetes itself, I don't think is a blessing. But the challenge of it is. It's brought out things in me, not even things in me. It's revealed God in ways that I never thought. I mean, Edward, there was a time I was rushed to the hospital, and when I got there, I didn't even know I was brought to the hospital. I woke up and I said, "What am I doing here?" And the paramedic said, "Sir, you suffered a major hypoglycemic attack, which is a drop in the sugar." And I said, "Really? How low was it?" And then he goes, "Sir, hindi nga mabasa ng aparatus namin kung gaano kababa."
Wow.
And I'm like, what? And they were
God's
really
grace.
that's God's grace. That is all God's grace. I was already going through seizures now in the car on the way to the hospital. That's not good, seizures, because of the brain. No, they're kind of concerned about that. I've been through that. I've been through waking up in the middle of the night, trying to talk to Tita Angeli and going, and then she's like, "Wait, you want something sweet?" And when I get it, I'm trying to praise God because I'm still alive. Because at that point, dapat I'm already in coma, and I'm like trying to praise Him. I praise. I'm like that, But that's happened not often, but it's happened enough times to know that the only reason I'm alive today is because of God's grace. And He's given me enough strength, enough passion, enough trust and belief in him to know that for as long as I'm in his hands, I'm okay. Because safety is not in the absence of danger. It's being in the
Amen.
presence of the Holy Mighty God.
You need to preach one day, Sir Gary. You
Oh!
need to, other than just through music. I wish I could see you like an actual sermon. I would love, and I would. You have the voice. You could replace Nelson Mandela, not Nelson Mandela, sir. Morgan Freeman. I'm sorry, who was played by who, who played Nelson Mandela in Invictus. Okay, that I swear. Okay, moving on to another one. You talked about challenges. You talked about going through them, and God's never won. Our God is a God of the process. He could have saved us like that, but he spent 33 years, and he could have taught you everything you needed to know in 1 minute, but he taught you throughout the whole lifetime. So one of the main things, and this leads us to our next fruit of the Spirit, patience. Patience is one of the most, when people talk about patience, everyone starts yawning. Everyone's like, wrong time to talk about this. But for you, when is a moment in your career where you just, other than writing that song, where you just had to wait because it wasn't your time?
I've been waiting all my life, Edward. I've been praying that this diabetes be taken away. And I remember Paulo, my eldest son, used to tell Tita Angeli, Mom, and he was young, no? Mom, why like that? How come? We've been praying every night for Papa, but he still has the diabetes. And then he gets his attacks, and then he gets to the hospital and all. And I have been waiting. But sometimes the waiting is a sign also of my impatience, because I think the Lord already has made it clear to me that, Gary, I may never take it away from you. But through that, I'm going to prove how faithful I am, that even if you have the diabetes, I'm more powerful than that. I'm more powerful than what is in you. And so I'm going to take care of you when you hypo. I'm going to take care of you when your sugar soars up to the 500 range. I'm going to be with you when you start feeling that your nerve endings disappear, because that's all part of the symptoms. I'll be with you when your eyes begin to falter and begin to fade. I'll be with you in every step of the way. And that's all I have. It's that. It's, Lord, I know you're going to be there. I believe. And it does require a lot of patience out of me. But I'm not a patient dude. I am one person who is,
Really? I've never seen you impatient, Sir Gary, ever.
One time. Okay, one time. I'll share something, okay? One time lang naman to eh.
Sige.
I was in ASAP. Okay. And I performed. And I was singing my song. Live audience. This was years and years ago. Live audience. Sing. Then I left. Then I went to my dressing room. Yeah. And then one of the script writers comes in. Sir Gary, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. Sir, meron ka pang isang verse. Hindi mo kinanta.
Oh!
So there used to be a hole in the wall in one of the dressing rooms, because I said, what? Bang! And I hit the wall because I said, how could I have forgotten that? I became I became angry because
right.
I need to give my best, and I need to make sure it's good, because when I pray before any performance, God is giving me his best. So I want to be at my best too. So when I make a mistake like that, I'm also very impatient when it comes to my plans not falling into place. Like, okay, this is my plan. I want to do this. Sana I can do this. And sana I can do this. Okay, good. And then biglang it changes. I struggle with that. I wrestle with that. And I want to make people know that patience is a fruit of the Spirit. In my tree of fruits, that's one of the fruits that once in a while it grows, but then once in a while it also disappears. But thank God that fruit always grows again. So, yeah. I'm not naman the impatient na yung tipong I'm always impatient. No naman.
Right.
It's just that I feel on a personal level, that's something I can work on.
Well, that sort of segues perfectly into the next fruit that I want to touch on really quickly, which is self-control. And I think this is one of the least, not the unheard of, but when you talk about fruits of the Spirit, of course you always go for the love and the joy and the peace first. But self-control is one of the most important, because you talked about it. Just a moment of a lack of self-control could lead to a hole in the wall in the dressing room.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to touch on one thing which is discipline. You've learned discipline because of your diabetes through everything, but when it comes to singing and performing, it's a constant discipline throughout the years. So how have you honed your self-discipline, your self-control throughout the years that you've been an artist?
Okay, I think age has also played a major role into why I need to be disciplined. I think that with regard to my talents of coming out on stage and performing, there needs to be another discipline that comes before that. And that's the discipline to take care of myself. Because if I don't take care of myself, it doesn't matter how good in shape I am up here. If I'm not good in shape in other parts of my body, this will not register in any good way. So honestly, I need to do more discipline in honing my craft in what I do. That's why I like learning. I spend time in tutorials. I spend time learning these things because I really want to hone my craft and not just become a jack of all trades and a master of none. With regard to singing, it's important talaga. I learned so much. I'm constantly learning so much from the younger artists in ASAP, who I often hear vocalizing and doing. I don't do that. I need to discipline myself to do that. I don't.
Really?
I don't. Why? Okay, let me try and explain why.
Okay.
There is a difference when you wake up in the morning and your voice is like this. Hey, how are you doing? Hi. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Hi, hon.
Pang 50 Shades of Grey.
Di ba? And then biglang, pag gising ka na, hey, hi, how are you? Are you okay? Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. And so sometimes when I would record, I wouldn't warm up because the first parts, I'll give you an example. I remember so well the day that you came into my life. That's no warm up. But if I was warmed up, it would be different. There would be a different approach.
Yeah.
The warmth of the voice is different. Ang problema ko, I got used to that. And because I'm growing older, this is a muscle like this. This is a muscle. So you need to keep working this out. But this also needs to be worked out. So I have to get into that a little more. I have the equipment. I can sing all afternoon if I want, just to get my voice back to where it should be. And because we're talking about it, I'm going to commit to that. Actually, I'm going to really discipline myself enough to do that because I feel I think there will be many more years ahead of me. Maybe even doing songs that I never thought I could do and writing songs I never thought I could write and singing in ways I never thought I could if I get back into the discipline of, making sure that what people hear is what people need to hear.
Okay, in which case, Sir Gary, we're gonna hold you to that. And months from now, I might send this clip to you back again. But on that topic, what is one genre or one, we talked about rap, K-pop, something that's booming at the moment. What is one genre or one song, if you have it, that you've never done before and you never thought you could do? I'm gonna send this clip to Tita Winnie from ASAP so we can line it up already next time.
Okay. One song that I never thought I would do was the song that was used when I was welcomed to ABS-CBN officially. Okay, because before that I was actually supposed to be with GMA. Okay, that's a different whole story, But then I ended up in ASAP in ABS because Tito Martin was abroad. So they said, "Hey Gary, now that you're with ABS, now that you're a kapamilya, can we welcome you? We want to shoot a video." I said, "Sure." That's never happened before. Thank you so much. I was so touched. And then when I came out, the song was Ocho Ocho. Okay, so there I was doing Ocho Ocho and dancing like, everything, but it was that. But that's okay because Darren had to do it one time in the ASAP opening. And I said, ASAP, yeah, tama. Darren, congratulations.
It's a rite of
gone through what
passage
I've
now.
gone through. Yeah, I handed him the baton in that way. But that's one song that I never thought I'd do.
Well,
that Ocho Ocho.
I look forward to the day where I can see it again live in the ASAP studio with an audience, fully vaccinated, no shields.
I don't know if ever that happens and you're there. I'm probably gonna do it looking at you like this.
We can't break eye contact. We have to look at each other the whole time.
I'll say, because of you, look what's happened. I'm doing it again.
I love it. But since we're on the topic of ASAP as well, I want to combine two of the fruits, and then we'll head on to our last one.
Okay.
Kindness and gentleness. There, when you think about Sir, personally, and I'm not saying this to flatter you. I'm saying this because genuinely, amongst many young artists as well. I think you called me son. You call me son all the time, and I love it. But you called me son, and I had never talked to you before in my life, never. And I was so like I was thinking, like, did I talk to him before? Did I have a moment that I can't remember or an experience? But you're so gentle and you're so kind, and I know that's not just because in the industry a lot of people say, ay, kailangan mabait ka, kailangan mabait ka sa lahat. Di lang yung mga artists, but to everyone. But you are so kind to everyone. So if we talk about impatience, we talk about self-control and so on. How hard is it to be kind in an industry that's very cutthroat and very aggressive sometimes?
Yeah. Well, you have to enter the industry knowing that that's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And when you enter the industry, you must never forget who you are. You must never make the industry determine who you must be. Because, at least in my case, I entered the industry early on and it was tough. But my whole back, one of these days, I'll be able to share it more extensively, how I started and how it was controversial because Tita Angeli got pregnant and the media was against me. And also it was really, but I didn't allow it to change me. And I'm so thankful that somehow the people who once hated me because I was an unwed father to be ended up, with their own stories and came back into the flock of being GaryV supporters because then they understood. Now, things can change all around us. But when you have a God in you that is the same yesterday, today, and forever, that is a great thing to remember because you're not going to be perfect. You're going to be hit by your numbers not rising in Instagram or in Twitter or in YouTube, or you're going to be hit by the number of people that say things about you that don't even know the truth about you. You're going to be hit by all of those things. Those are all outward things. It's the inside that you must remember who resides in there. It is his hope that he resides, not just to visit with you and sit and say, hey, you got problems with this area of your life. No, he wants to live there. And then he fixes things up. Now, even if the problems are still out there, you'll be like Peter who, for a while walked on water until he focused on everything else around him. And that's when he started to sink. And God, as good as he is, picked up Peter and they both walked back to the boat together. They both walked back to the boat together. So when you begin to sink, if you know that you've already, or even if you have the desire to know God a bit more, you must allow God to determine and to mold you despite being in an industry that is exactly what you said, cutthroat. It's sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon, lahat ng mga artista, syempre ang nakikita mo sa harapan ng camera, sa lahat ng mga ginagawa nila ay yung mga nais nyong makita. Things that wow, or kilig and all that. But there are stories, there are true to life stories that each artist is going through that may not fit your image of them, but it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It doesn't mean that they don't deserve what they have. It's just that God is not done with them just yet. Just as God is not done with any of you just yet. Pero, being patient and being kind and all, many times I think of, paano kaya kung ibahin natin ang sitwasyon o ang posisyon na ako yung fan and yung fan si GaryV. How would I want GaryV to treat me? And so before, there were times when some of my team would, some people in my team would go, Gary, you don't have to spend too much time with them and all. But I'm saying, listen, if Michael Jordan, who is my favorite of all time, came to me and said, hey, man, thanks for watching the game. That's really great. Even just those lines, I'm like, wow, he spent time with me. He gave me more than just hey, dude. I mean, that means a lot to a fan. So even at my age, I try and go up to people and say, hey, thanks, huh? And sometimes they're shocked, but okay lang. As long as I left that lasting impression that somehow they can also do to others. whether they are artists or not, they can also do to others who might need a little word of encouragement or a little action that would encourage. Kumbaga parang racket, a random act of
Yeah,
kindness every time. Parang ganon. So kindness, it's tough, but you never fight fire with fire. You fight fire with
Wow.
water. Water is soothing. Water is life-giving. Water quenches thirsts. Diba? So,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to fight fire with fire, you will probably also get burned. Mananalo ka, pero sunog-sunog. And usually the
Mm-hmm.
damage of fire is permanent, right? But when
Wow.
it's water,
Scars.
diba? When it's water that you fight fire with, things change. And it's unexpected. And it might actually help the person who's actually against you more than you actually know. And you just
Wow.
have to be kind.
There are so many people watching at the moment, and I know that's gonna speak to, even if it's just one of them, it's speaking to me. So that's
Correct.
at least one. It's gonna make a difference. How different would our, not just our world but our nation specifically be if we treated kindness as not just a rare gift or a once
Yeah.
in a lifetime, once here and there, once in a blue moon
Yeah.
act, but a daily tradition and routine. That would be great. But random acts of kindness are coming in right now, Sir Gary, because we have over 2.2 thousand viewers, almost 1.1
Wow.
million diamonds, and 250,000 hearts sent by everyone on Kumu. I just have to give a shout out because I forgot that I have a tech team who's reminding me to shout people out. I just got so sucked into
Go ahead.
conversation. We got Chiming Chippy for the Yamashita Gold, Malate Impron
Wow.
underscore Mayward for the Malacanang, Mayward Flyers official, EJ Barber 07, Bamama Mama. You really love making me struggle with these names, guys, don't you? Zita Lopez, Sarang Mayward, Mayward Japan, Glee, Mayward Closet Fan 201, Mayward Japan. I'm Rain Luis, Jonas Smith Tocande, Mark J. Santos, MWFB, Kevin Home Alone, my dad is watching.
Wow.
JD Lubang 25. Thank you so much to all of you for making this day so very, very special as well. And to you, Sir Gary, for coming on.
Anytime, man.
But as I said, I know you had an interview before this, and I want to
That's
end
fine.
it
No
with this.
problem. Don't worry about it.
I want to end it with this last question, and this is one
Okay.
of the only questions I really prepared beforehand, and I really thought about it, and it's going to that last fruit that I want to talk about, which is faith or faithfulness. And I've actually only experienced your prayers at ASAP a couple of times. You know, the last cycle that I was part of, you prayed, I think it was twice, and then Sir Ogi prayed one time.
Right.
And when you pray, it's not you. I have to make this clear. It's not Sir Gary. There's something that fills the room. There's a presence there. There's a feeling there. It just feels very different. And when you talk, it's not like you're talking to us, Sir Gary. It's like you're talking to someone you know very, very well, that you've gone through thick and thin with. And you've talked about him a little bit today. It's not rehearsed. It's very raw. So why is that? And how can someone watching right now get that intimacy?
Okay. Okay. I'll be as raw as possible. Okay.
All right.
When I speak to people, whether it's fellow ka-artista o kapamilya, or even others, kapamilya, kapuso, or anybody who wants to talk to me, I always tell them, na just be yourself. And that's how I am with the Lord. I just come to Him as I am. I never try and come to Him as the person that I want Him to see me trying to be. Kumbaga, I want to try to be like this para pag nakita ko ni Lord, that's what He sees. And I always try and imagine how God would talk to me. So when I pray, it's not because I'm walking a nice and holy, walk with the Lord, but it's nice to really imagine and believe that He's right there. You know why? Because He is. When you talk to the Lord and come to Him and say, Lord, I'm not doing well. Hindi okay sa akin ang problemang ito. That's fine. When you come before the Lord and say, I'm struggling with this, Lord. I hurt this person. I don't know what to do. That's okay. Or even, Lord, I'm having a hard time believing in you. That's okay. Okay? Just come to him that way instead of, Lord, hallelujah, I love you, Lord. But inside of you, medyo opposite ang nararamdaman mo.
Right.
Come to Jesus as you are. You don't need to be a hero or a superstar. That's part of a song that I wrote. And the title of that song is As You Are. And that's exactly how he wants you. Okay? Only he can make you what he wants you to become. And that's the best that you can actually become. Does it happen overnight? May not. Does it happen in years? It may, but it may not. But it's a journey. And the way I pray in front of everybody in ASAP, unang-una, kakilala ko na sila eh. Di ba? Pati yung mga cameramen, yung mga staff members, the crew, of course, the artists, the dancers, everyone there, we all know each other na. So it's best to just come before them like I represent everybody coming before God as we are. I know for a fact that when I pray, I sense that there are some going through difficult times in life na hindi nila syempre mailabas habang nasa ASAP kami. Syempre, kasi magsushow na kami. Diba? Yeah. But there are some that shed a tear. There are some that come to me after that say, either, Tito, thank you, ha? And they just shake my hand. There was one time, there's a popular couple, okay? And one of the guy came up to me and said, Tito, thanks, ha? That really helped me. That alone is already a crack in the wall, that may have been put up in order to show the world that everything is okay when actually it's the opposite. And when that wall begins to fall, and that wall is what keeps you safe, maybe God knows it's what keeps you safe. But if it falls, it will break. But when his hands are being allowed to put things together again, it will still end up as a masterpiece. When you say masterpiece, remember, only you watching us right now, you are made in the image and the likeness of God. And because he's the master, kung ano ang gagawin niya sa buhay ninyo, kung hayaan yung gawin niya, you will still end up a piece of the master. In other words, a masterpiece.
Wow.
Kahit na anong sabihin ninyo, at the end of the day, he is trying to make you what he wants you to be, And even if you don't feel it, but you believe it, things will come, things will happen. I'm not saying it will happen it will be a happy life forever. No, it will not be. It will be a challenge. You will meet all sorts of tribulations in the world, but God has overcome all of those tribulations. So imagine that God who has overcome all of these tribulations inside your heart. Can you imagine kung ano yung kaya niyong gawin? Kung ano ang kaya niyong malampasan? Kung ano ang mga problemang sa dulo nun, magiging victorious kayo? Can you imagine that with God in your heart? It's beyond what words can actually express. And so, I don't want people, lastly, I just don't want people to think na sana ganun ako, kagaya ni Sir Gary and all. I have so much in my life I have to work on, Edward. There's so many things that I know I struggle with. There's so many things I know I can fix up. But I'm trusting in God that at the proper time, in the proper way, it might hurt a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes pain is what makes you understand and what puts you value into the things that you need to put value into when pain is a part of it. And, that's just all. I'm sorry my answer's so long.
No,
on that one
no.
simple question.
It's not. So, it's a very simple question, but it's an answer that you could give us 1,000 words, Sir Gary. I think if we count it, you might have. But the biggest, and I hear this, I say this all the time. The biggest form of evangelism, the biggest testimony could ever give, and anyone could ever give, is not through their words, through their answers, but through living it out. And you truly do live it out. And it's a great inspiration for myself, for everyone watching, even the people who don't know God personally. There's like, okay, since like you said, we're all made in the image of God. You can see, and I think it's the best compliment you could ever give anyone, even bigger than I love you, is I see a little piece, a shadow of a shadow of who God is through your life. So thank you, Sir Gary, for sharing your life here on Kwentong Barber, for sharing it throughout many, many years in the industry, through your craft, through your music. through your words and through your encouragement. So I think it's one of my favorite episodes ever. I claimed it. I
Oh,
said it
man.
in the chat that it would be, and it truly has become just that. So, Sir Gary, would you like to invite anyone to come and check out
Well,
anything that you're doing at the moment?
right now, yeah, you can check out Asap Natin To. Siguro naman alam niyo na yun, ano? Asap Natin To Sundays
Sana.
on Kapamilya channel or the Kapamilya online live. You can follow me on at Gary Valenciano 1 on Twitter, at Gary Valenciano on IG, and Gary Valenciano on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget my new song, Make Us Whole Again. It's out online on all platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. And lastly, instead of me inviting you for more of these things, I invite you tonight or even now, if any of you have been inspired, if you're looking for that kind of relationship with Christ, know, number one is that you're not actually not worthy. You're not worthy of having a relationship with Him, but He has found you worthy somehow. And you can come before Him and just say you're sorry for everything that you've done in your own words and ask Him, Lord, eto na po. Can you just come into my heart and do what only you can do? And I'll leave it at that. Okay? You just come before Him as raw as you are, as sincere as you are. Kung galit kayo, lilapit kayo sa Kanya kahit galit kayo. But let Him know. And ask Him to come into your heart. Because when He comes into your heart, He comes into your life. And that's when things begin to change. May mga problemang darating na hindi nyo akalain kaya nyo, pero parang, paano ko nagawa yun? Pati yung mga tao na pumapaligid sa inyo, mapapansin nila, paano mo nagawa yun? And you will get to understand, only God could have seen you through that. So yun lang, I just wanted to invite you to do that. Even now, or even later on tonight before you sleep. Just, do that. And
I
let's
love
see.
that.
I would love to hear the stories of those we touch, no? That would be
Sir
great.
Gary, if we see any, actually, let's do something about that. If you guys have a story, if you guys were inspired or touched or whatever, in any way, if you just feel that something changed or shifted in your heart through tonight, through the words of Sir Gary or myself, through the conversation, just send either of us a DM on
please.
Instagram, tweet us, use whatever hashtag, I don't know, Kwentong Barber, hashtag Kwentong Barber, hashtag Kwentong Barber, something changed. Let's make that the hashtag.
Oh, nice.
And then let's just hear the testimonies. Maybe in the future, Sir Gary, we can just praise God about that a little bit. But thank you so much for coming on the show. When people talk about the fruits of the Spirit, it's not just something that grows by you forcing it to grow. You can't look at a tree and point at it and say, I want you to grow now. Grow. No, it's something that has to be fed and watered and shined upon. So
you have time
the
for
present as well.
Yes, you're right.
Sure.
Because of that. What were you going to say? Because of that?
The presence.
Okay. Listen, you're familiar with fruit trees, right? Yung saging, the tree, can grow immediately. In I don't know how many weeks or months, andyan na. But there is a pineapple. Tamis, sarap, sustansya. But that takes 365 days to grow one.
1 year.
1 year. What about one of the most healthiest of fruits, which is the coconut, which I don't know if it's a fruit, diba? But it takes, the prime ones take 7 years to grow. So all of us are different. We have different fruits of the Spirit, which are going to grow in us, but that will take time. But just stay on course, stay on target, and allow God to be who He said He would be in your life, and watch the fruit begin to manifest in ways you never thought it would.
Amen. I love it. And I love you, Sir Gary. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
I love you too, son. You take care, huh?
Thank you. Well, we're just getting okay, we actually have it right now. We have over 3,000 viewers, almost 1.1 million diamonds as well, over 350,000 hearts. And our top 3 gifters for today are at number 3, Saranghe Mayward, number 2, Dokande, and number 1, Chiming Chippy. Thank you so much for all that you guys have given, for all the love that you've given as well. I want to invite all of you to, if you enjoyed today, you want to relive it and rewatch it, you can every Saturday at 8 p.m. You can follow us and catch fresh episodes of Kwentong Barber every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on the official Kumu account of Mix at MixPH. And what a day this has been. The Bucks won. I got to talk to Sir GaryV. I got to compliment his body. What is better than this? Thank you, Sir Gary, for coming on the show. This is Kwentong Barber. I'm Edward Barber, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye, mga pamilya. Bye, Sir Gary.